What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today we have the brand new Grand Voyage that we need to discuss, and this is, it's probably one of the most difficult pieces of content that have ever arrived on One Piece Treasure Cruise. And it's not only just the gimmicks that are included, but it's the fact that the pool of characters that we have to use in this content are quite restrictive. Very similar to how when Local Sea Monster first dropped, the actual pool of Sai Cerebral was kind of slim. There wasn't really a lot of room for improvement, and the same thing happens here, where in the Arlong Park Grand Voyage, you have to be using a Dex team that has 6 Cerebral characters, as well as including at least 1 Nami character on your crew to fulfill all the conditions for this quest. And when you actually have a look at it, and in terms of what gimmicks we have and what characters we have to counter that, again, it's very slim in terms of the amount of available characters that are actually usable for this content. And the thing is even if you have the optimal team setup, the amount of investments you need in these characters in order to have enough damage output is also very restrictive. But it's also very similar to Local Sea Monster in a way, where the characters that we have access to don't really get the accessibility of super type or super class, which does give you a pretty good sizable damage increase. So you do have to opt to use characters as captains that don't have the super type or super class. So just across the board, there's just lots of really annoying stuff here. You'll see the rewards towards the end of this video as well, but one thing I did want to also point out to you guys is that now we have up to 50 point rewards for the total rewards of Grand Voyage. And you do notice that once you reach 50 rewards total, that you actually do not get another Super Tandem tablet. So when we have Grand Voyage first debut, one of the rewards was an absolute Super Tandem tablet ×1, and unfortunately when you reach the 50, there's no Super Tandem tablet once again. I don't understand why they've introduced this difficult game mode which requires so much investment, so much time and effort has to be input into this game mode in order to require all these rewards, and I feel like we aren't compensated fairly for the amount of effort that it actually takes to beat this content. So I'm pretty upset about that in particular, and we may discuss this further in future videos. But either way, this is the team setup that we have, and once again, shout out to Karissa, which is a Japanese One Piece Treasure Cruise content creator. He was the first person that I know of to actually complete it. Now, a lot of people had this team set up pretty much ready to go, but people didn't really recognize the way that this team actually beat it, because we knew these characters got around the gimmicks, but due to the lack of damage or the way how tight the damage is in this content, there's actually certain tap orders that you need to do in order to secure the victory, which is very bizarre. But you do see here that we have a full team at level 150, all limit break expanded, and maximum cotton candy. Now when I say maximum cotton candy, I've got just about as max as I can get it here. So I do have 198 attack cotton candy on all of these characters. I did use all my red tickets to level up my attack cotton candy tree. I am 1 away from maxed out attack cotton candy here, but it does involve Nami as the captain, with double Nami, of course, and she did get her limit break expansion and level limit break recently. I believe in the past couple of months her level limit break came out. We've also got Vivi and Rebecca, who's going to be very key with the Saber support, which is very much required. We have Hiyori. Now, yes, of course, you have Hiyori, who is a super type character. However, you want to actually use her as a crewmate because of her crewmate ability that generates a full board of Wano slots for you at the start of the quest, which is very important for stage 1. Then there's also the Law with the Luffy support to remove attack down once we reach the final stage. And then we have Rayleigh with the Crocker support, which again is very, very important because we do need to have chain lock on 2 separate stages, which he gives us a 3-turn chain lock, and then Crocus to remove burn and also give us damage reduction. Like, this is the team that you need to build to beat this content. At least that's what we have right now, with the ship of Victoria Punk, which is also very key in order to beat this content. But let's go ahead and jump into it now as we break down this brand new Grand Voyage. So jumping into the Grand Voyage, we're going to start with Stage 1, of course, and Stage 1 is already going to be a pretty massive hurdle for a lot of people to get over, and I know it took people quite a long time to figure out exactly how to get around it, but you see that you get your orbs locked, so this is why Hiyori is really good, because you can just keep these Wano slots, and actually we have Wano slots throughout the entire duration of this run, which is so good. But you also get inflicted with 2 turns of burn, and the guy at the back, the mob character at the back, he has like really high defense. It's like 25 million defense or something, but then he has like not that much HP. So Rayleigh's really good here, and people were experimenting initially by using potentially Moby Dick shit, because when you're below 50%, Rayleigh gives you like, if you hit a certain amount of perfects, he gives you an orb boost in the following turn as well. That is with level limit break 5, of course. But ultimately, the Victoria Punk is very much required, as you guys will see towards the end of the video when we get to the revive stage of Stage 5. So Stage 2, we've got a bunch of random mobs, and we just can do normal attacks, luckily, to kill, because we do still have the chain lock from Rayleigh. Remember that the Hiyori crewmate effect, when you tap on her with a Wano slot, she does inflict 15% resistance down for your cerebral and slasher characters, which is very key and helps you get a little bit of additional damage here. Stage 3 is also where, well, this is where, you know, you're going to have to do some pretty serious manual targeting, and even with all of these investments, these manual targets need to occur in order for you to actually kill, which is just wild to think about. But you see there's going to be Bind and Despair and Paralysis, but this is where Hiyori's really good with the Riser support, so we can use the Riser support to remove the enemy's resilience when we get to that point, but also giving us Wano slots once again and locking them. And then also we can use the Nami special to remove the Paralysis and give us an Orb and Color Affinity boost. And then we want to preemptively switch the Vivi and Rebecca to the quick version, so that when we get to Stage 4, we can switch them back into the Dex variation. But you see the taps are really strange here, but the reason why we do this is because Law and Rayleigh actually have critical hit, and you want to be hitting with them as late as possible in the chain so that they have the highest amount of damage, because those are the only 2 characters on the team that have critical hit, so it is vital that those characters tap when they actually do. So here we have the next stage, which is with Hachi, which once again with some additional mobs, and again this is another stage that does require you to tap in very specific structures in order to actually secure this kill. I actually tried a different strategy before this recording and it didn't work, but you know, you do have to attack in this order, and Hiyori, you mainly want to attack with her first because of the resistance down that she applies. Due to that, having high investments in Hiyori is actually very much, I wouldn't say it's required, but it definitely helps out a lot, because that additional 15% bonus really does add up for the rest of your crew members here. And then we end on Rayleigh on the Hachan to get that crit damage, Law, and then we also have Vivi and Rebecca. Both have really good investments, critical hit on Law, which is very good. And then we get to the last stage where you're only allowed to activate 1 special. And the really key thing that we did there on the previous stage is that we activated Vivi Rebecca, which gives us an attack and orb boost to our crew, but then Law special will extend the duration of those buffs by 2 turns, which is very key, because if you activate an orb or an attack boost on this stage, Arlong will react to that. So you do need the Law in tandem with the actual Vivi and Rebecca. It's very important that you do that. And then once again, the tap timings don't matter as much here, but using Hiyori first is very much, I would say, required to give you that resistance buff. And then you can just go ahead and do your normal taps to kill the rest. I do use Rayleigh for the second tap to ensure that we get the knockout on the second mob, because Rayleigh with crit, he does a really good amount of damage on the crew. Hiyori does get the knockout on the first mob, which is very important. But the thing here, and why I said we needed the ship, is because the Victoria Punk has a special which removes 1 turn of barrier, and you'll see that when Arlong revives, he blows away all characters except the captain. So with the ability to remove the barrier, we can 1-tap with Nami and secure victory. So thank you very much for watching this video. Huge shout out to Chaozu and Korasan for putting clips together for a lot of other people out there to understand exactly how this content actually works. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.